Welcome. Welcome to Love and Friendship. I am blessed. We have Joseph Agg here. We'll be talking about Judaism again. My name is Michael Koran. I'm your host. Joseph has become a Messianic Jew, is that it?
Well, you can call me Messianic Gentile, or some may make that distinction.
What do you call yourself?
I can call myself Messianic Gentile as of now because I'm actually going through the process of conversion. So.
And you'll be and you call yourself a Messianic Gentile.
Yep.
And you're converting to who?
Well, there's an organization called Lapid Judaism, and so this
What's
is
it
what
called?
Lapid.
Lapid. And what does Lapid stand for?
It's about the Messiah. It's about the Messianic era.
Do you know what the word Lapid stands for? Or?
Go for it.
I don't know. No.
Okay.
No.
I'm just learning. Learning myself. So I'm looking into this, and it may be a difficult road for me because coming from a Christian background, there's a lot I have to understand about Rabbinic Judaism, and a lot of I have to understand.
So this is a Jewish congregation?
Yes, this is a Jewish congregation, yes.
They're not, most of them are not Christians, or are they all Christians?
Most of the leadership are. The leadership are, but there is a lot of converts, Gentile converts.
Oh, but not too many Jewish converts?
No.
Is there any Jews in there?
There's Jews, absolutely. The most of the leadership are Jewish, and most of the converts are non-Jews, and so they become Jewish.
Wow, is that interesting?
Yeah.
So the leaders are Jewish, and they're converting non-Jews to be Jews.
That's right.
I would imagine they're not recognized by the usual Jewish authorities.
I mean, a lot of people will say, well, why not just call it Judaism instead of Messianic Judaism? Well, the reason being is who we see as the Messiah. We see Yeshua as the Messiah.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is worldwide or?
National. It's on a national level.
About how many people?
There's 2 synagogues, one in Texas and one in Oklahoma. And so, basically, I'm very new. I'm just finding out about this organization, so I just started getting communication. It's not. I'm just trying to really be prayerful about this and really see if this is the way for me. And so, where I'm at really is I'm at an in-between state where I'm coming out of Christianity and starting to get deeper into Judaism, but the Messianic branch of Judaism.
Yes.
So, as I was telling my story about being affiliated with Messianic synagogues as I was growing up, I wasn't fully dedicated yet. I was still totally.
I thought you said the only synagogues were Oklahoma and Texas.
Of this branch of Messianic Judaism. Now, the thing that they see differently about this is that the Messianic Judaism that I was brought up with, that I was affiliated with when I was younger, is that they reject Rabbinic Judaism. They reject the Talmud. They reject the sages. And so this branch, this is just one example. There are other Messianics who do agree with the Rabbinic. This is just one organization. So most of them, they're very judged by other branches of Judaism. It's almost as if what's going on in Israel right now is that many of the Orthodox groups are calling people like Reform not Jewish. They're saying that conservatives are not Jewish, right? And they're saying, well, if you're not Orthodox, then you're not Jewish, and you're a blasphemer or some blasphemer, right? So this is sort of the same deal because of who we see as Messiah, but yet Messianics who do not agree with the Rabbinic, they would be seen as Christianity with a kippah on top. And they would be seen as just another branch of Christianity. And so we don't see it as a branch.
Oh, because and this is the group you're part of. So does it have its own name, or they're all calling themselves Messianic Jews?
They will see. That's the thing is, I will call that because I'm so used to calling myself a Messianic. I'm so used to calling myself Messianic that they just call it Judaism. They just call it Judaism. They don't even want the term Messianic because they just see Messiah Yeshua as part of Judaism.
The Messiah that's the Yeshua is the Jewish name of Jesus.
That's right. the Messiah.
Jesus was actually never called Jesus in his day.
Right, his name was
I
Yeshua.
hope when we pray to him, you might have to hedge your bets. Say Yeshua.
You know, the
Yeshua.
rabbi I'm under now, he said, Mary, Joseph, and Yeshua, or his last name wasn't Christ. His last name wasn't. It wasn't Mary, Joseph, Christ.
No, it was Ben Yosef.
Right, Messiah ben Yosef.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I see if I have this straight. So the particular branch
Yeah.
of Messianic Judaism
Yes.
that you're part of calls themselves just Jews.
They're just Jews. Yeah.
And they have two synagogues, one in Oklahoma and one in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have some congregations here.
Yeah, they have. They're spread out. I'm not sure how much I'm able to say, but I want to respect confidentiality in all respects for certain reasons. But the reason I bring it up is because of my transition, is because where I am in my life right now.
So you're transitioning from
A branch of Messianic Judaism where it's more Christian in practice.
and so you're meeting with a different congregation.
Yeah, I'm speaking with them about whether or not this is the path for me.
Is there a place you meet and pray?
Yeah, I'm talking with them on the phone as of yet.
But there's no group here.
There are some spread out, but it's very there's not a lot. Not a lot.
Near here, near Somerville.
Not around here now.
Oh, so where do you go to, or do you go to pray?
In Massachusetts somewhere, but we're very sparse in small groups. It's very small, like little Havrat homes. It's not like a very big synagogue. It's
So
very small.
you go to one home around here?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you don't drive much, so it's.
No, I'd have to take public transportation.
But and how many people? Like 5, 6?
It's like small family, just a family.
And there's a Torah there, or?
No, not as far as I'm aware, because it's very expensive.
Oh.
Yeah, that's very expensive.
There's a lovely place in Somerville, which is close to you,
Yeah.
Havarat Shalom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was telling a story there. Story Space meets there,
Yeah.
and I was so comforted as a Torah there.
Yeah.
I felt less. It took away my fear of having.
On College Ave, right?
Yes, telling a story in front of people.
I like that environment. I like the small environments. It's just more home-like.
Yes, it's very much.
Right? I like that.
But you wouldn't go pray there, or would you?
I did. I have, and I did feel welcome. They made me feel welcome there. Now, some of the big synagogues that may not feel as welcome. Not so much a welcome, but I might feel a little like I stick out, like a sore thumb.
Because you could be. It sounds like you wouldn't mind being. I mean, most Jews aren't observant.
Mm-hmm.
Most Jews probably don't even go to synagogue.
Mm.
So you're much more enthusiastic about Judaism than many of my Jewish friends.
There's a quote by Paul that says, the job, my rabbi would say, the job description between Jew and Gentile is like this: the Gentile is been given salvation by God via the Jewish people. Salvation is of the Jews, and the Gentile was included, grafted in. And so the word carried by the Jewish nation was extended to the Gentiles, so that in turn the Jewish people would feel jealous of the Torah again, and that the desire to start becoming more observant again by seeing the Gentiles now have it. Let's go and be motivated.
Wow, it's complicated.
In other words, we are to bounce off each other.
When you say my rabbi, the little group you meet, you go to the same group each month?
As of right now, I go to one synagogue consistently, but I'm talking with another
I'm confused.
Yeah.
You go to this little place, this family.
Well, I haven't gone yet. So
Oh,
that's what you're confused about, because I'm just starting to get in contact with them.
Oh, so you go to one synagogue now, a
Yes.
Jewish synagogue.
Yes, it's the rabbi is Jewish and mostly Gentile who come in to learn about Judaism. The one that I go to now in Stoughton,
So you go to one in Stoughton.
Yes.
Good for you. It's a bit of a trip for you.
It's a
right?
bit of a trip, yeah.
And you go on a Friday night or Saturday morning.
Yeah, on
Both?
Friday night.
You go on Friday night. This is a Jewish synagogue,
Yep.
and they're mostly non-Jews there.
Yeah, all the leadership is Jewish. My rabbi is Jewish. The family is Jewish, but most of the people that come in have been starting to come out of Christianity.
And this rabbi believes, like you do, that Jeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah.
That's right.
And since Jeshua, Jesus lived so long ago, and believing he's the Messiah does what for you?
It's the connection that I have. It's almost like the bridge. It's almost like when you have a rebbe, right, and he is your leader.
A rabbi is like a rabbi.
Right, a big rabbi, this is who we follow. You know, this is our main man, right? And in his interpretation of Torah is what we follow. His way is what we follow. His interpretation, his way. He is who we are to focus everything we do. Like all the mitzvahs we do, all of the festivals we do, all of the even eating kosher, everything is focused on him. Why do we do this? Because of him.
Well, so this is in some ways lonely because you don't have a community here.
Yeah, it is. It is sort of lonely. And
Are there any people here you go up to Stoughton with or not?
there are some in. There's a little house in Brookline that I've been attending during the spring and during the later in the year. There are 3 or 4 small synagogues. One is the Russian one that I was acquainted with when I was younger.
Yeah.
In Newton, called Beth Yeshua. The other one is the one in Stoughton, which they're like brother and sister. Those 2 congregations.
And they're called also Beth Yeshua?
Beth Yeshua, and the other one is called Shar HaShemayim.
And Shar means again?
Means gate of God.
Oh.
Shar HaShemayim.
Yeah.
Gate of heaven.
Gate of, or even Gate of the Skies.
Yes, gate of the skies. Yeah. Being literal.
So they read the New Testament as well as the Hebrew Bible?
Yeah, we call it the Brit Hadashah, the New Covenant.
Oh, and so it would be like you're walking into a Christian service.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
But we do it Jewishly, and following the feast and everything.
When you follow the Jewish, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
And so the disconnect between the way that some of these Messianic groups, there's a spectrum. Okay, there's some who follow more on the rabbinical side, and there are some who follow more on the Christianized side.
Yes, and you're moving toward more the rabbinical?
I'm strongly considering it.
And why?
Because the more that I try to toe the line between Christianity and Judaism, it's almost as if I have to choose. This is just how I feel at this point in my life, where if I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it. If I'm going to follow one way, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it with all my heart. If I'm going to do it another way, then I should do it with all my heart.
Sure.
Now, of course, in my life, I've been through many changes, so I have to really think and pray about where I'm headed and what direction I'm going in, because it's not something, conversion is not something to play around with.
And why is it a conversion? If you've been part of this community, but you haven't been officially
Not officially, no.
initiated.
That's the whole thing.
We have to decide which
Recognized.
one to initiate.
That's the whole thing. Is I feel in the current Messianic movement there is no formal conversion, and there is no, because all you have to do is spend 1 year in the cycle, spend 1 year in the festival cycle, spend do Shabbat every Saturday or Friday night. You start eating kosher, and then you're good. You're good, but I just feel that there needs to be a little bit more after having gone to Israel. I feel that a little bit stronger connection. I feel that there are some things that I have learned in Christianity. Not that it's a bad thing, but there are some things I may have to unlearn, and there are some new things I may have to learn. Now, I have a few reservations just because of the way I was taught. I was taught that rabbinic Judaism is in some ways negative, some ways very controlling, some ways not always honest. That's just the way I've been taught.
By who?
By the current Messianic movement. By the current Messianic movement, where they may respect the Talmud, and they respect it as learning, but they don't see it as one with the Torah. They don't see the interpretations of the rabbis as being authoritative. And that's what I'm investigating. I'm not saying I'm one way or the other right now, but I'm very much willing to learn. And I'm very much willing to investigate this to see if this is something that I really want to do.
So it doesn't sound, but tell me if I'm wrong, that there's a community where you make friends with other people in the community. Is that true or not?
Well, like I said, it's very small groups and spread out all over the place.
Yeah, but you can make friends with
You can.
people in a small group. It
Absolutely.
sounds like you're friendly, but not forming bonds yet.
Yeah, it's one way or another, and it may be me. It may be me because I'm such a learner. I'm always searching for truth, and I'm never the type of person that wants to put my roots in one place, all my eggs in one basket. I have a hard time with that. I've always had a hard time with that. Even with work, jobs, school, everything I've done, I've always had, with family is different. Family is different. But I've always had a hard time putting all my eggs in one basket and putting my roots down in one place. Even when I was in Christianity, one church, never. I'm always
Wow.
no. It's too complicated for me to just. It's too simple for me to just say, I'm a Baptist, I'm a Pentecostal. And that's why.
I need all the help I could get. I mean, I've been going to Dances of Universal Peace, which might interest you. I don't know.
Okay.
It's it'll be the third Saturday in August.
Okay.
And they're Sufis. And they believe, like Unitarians, that all the traditions are paths of truth, all of them. Jews, Christians, Muslims, primal traditions, and so on. Buddhists, Hindus. We sing songs from each of the traditions and dance to them. And there's somebody who leads study groups, how to study the wisdom from each of the traditions. So that's more I need all the help I can get.
Exactly.
And so that's, and I guess that's my practice. I'm not a member. I inquired, but I didn't want to do the things.
You wanted to be a part of it.
I wanted to be a part, and one of the leaders said, "You really are a part. I've been doing it for so long, but not officially."
Right, and that's exactly where I am with this movement. Is that I've been a part of it, but not officially, and I haven't been properly initiated in a certain way. But I've been a part of it for so long that it's sort of my identity.
And it gives you, it seems, a lot of comfort.
Yeah.
In what ways?
I do have friendships. I do have bonds, but it's not in such a way where I'm really in the community all the time. I have to travel a long way to get to one to another, and it's just we're so spread out. I haven't really formed strong bond with one or the other.
It doesn't seem. And during the week, by yourself, you pray, or
Yeah.
you put on tefillin?
I don't put on tefillin, and that's part of the rabbinic that I've looked into. So the question would be...
Tefillin is those leather straps with the, I believe, Jews took it literally. In the Bible it says, keep these commands close to your heart.
Yep.
So they
in the box.
Put those words in a little box.
Yep.
And you tie it close to your heart.
And that's beautiful. I really do see that as beautiful. For about a year, for a little while, I was doing the prayer book, and I was trying to get up every morning, and I have a hard time Sometimes I would have a hard time doing it. Sometimes I would do it and it would be a lovely day. I would wake up.
I think we're supposed to pray.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Muslims are supposed to pray when they get up.
Yep.
And I worked in a religious kibbutz for 6 months and prayed morning and late afternoon. I don't remember praying in the evening. With the people I was working with, the man who worked with the cows, it was very nice.
It is. I mean, in a community, it's a whole lot easier. Like when I was in Israel, we wake up and we say the Shema and the Amidah, and it was just so much easier because we're all doing it as a community. When I'm at home,
it's hard.
It's hard because I have to force myself to.
And it's not as much fun.
No, it's not.
The whole thing is, I mean, for a Jew, you have to have a minyan in order to have a service.
Yeah.
That means, you people don't, do you?
Well, we don't do that. No.
You need a minyan. You need 10. In the past, it was 10 men.
Yeah.
Some people, I'm sure it's 10 people.
Yeah.
In order to open the Torah.
Right.
And that, in some ways, kept people together because they would sometimes say, "Would you please come down? We need one more person."
It's very connective.
Yes, but you folks don't do that, right?
No, what we do is on.
And you don't have a Torah either.
Well, we do have a Torah. The one that I go into in Stoughton, we have a Torah.
Yes.
The other one, I'm not exactly sure. They may not have. I'm just starting to get in touch with them, so I'm just starting to investigate. I just discovered these ones. So the other ones, the one in Newton does, the one in Stoughton does, there's another one in Needham that does. So they are very well established, and there's a lot of people, but the majority is Gentile, and the majority and the leadership is Jewish.
Well, there's an amazing man on television, on Christian television, who's Jewish and Christian, both. I don't know how
he identifies it.
But he believes Jesus is the Messiah for sure.
And that's the important thing, I think.
And is God. And he basically believes the Christian beliefs, but many of the Jewish practices. Now, the fundamental difference, which we talked about, is, as I understand it, because I'm both Jewish, I'm bar mitzvahed and baptized, and a member of Quaker meeting. I need, as I said, all the help I can get. But it seems to me that Jews will argue with God, really argue, from Abraham on. You're a just God. You wouldn't destroy the innocent with the wicked, would you? No, you're a good God. If there's 50 just people in the Sodom, you wouldn't destroy the whole city, would you?
Bargaining.
Yeah, then it goes down to 45 and 40. And that's what Israel means, to wrestle with God. That's the literal meaning of it. When Jacob wrestled with a messenger from Yahweh, his name was changed to Israel.
That's right.
So that is a big difference. That, for me, would be the big difference between the two. Because Christians, the holiest Christian prayer is, "Thy will be done." Right?
Submission,
So, and Islam too, the word Islam means surrender as well as peace. So that's a big difference. In some ways, maybe you're doing it because you're wrestling in your own way.
Yeah. Very well. It very well could be like that.
But you don't in your language, not that you need to. The way you speak of God when we were warming up is very much like a Christian, honoring, respecting, surrendering, and not arguing really, at least as I understand you.
I can, in my prayer time, the way that I respect the Bible, the way that I respect the yearly cycle, all of those things, I don't question them. But the other thing is, in my personal life, there's almost a cognitive dissonance, and there's a compartmentalization, and that's actually a key word for, as I've been praying this week, that God had revealed to me that one of the problems that I have is that I compartmentalize things. And it could be helpful in some cases where we have to do that, but in other cases, to compartmentalize your spiritual life from your real life, from your day-to-day life,
Yes.
it's not healthy.
No.
No, you
Why
need that.
do
You need that
yes.
to be one and the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, all the commandments: wash your hands.
That's right. Say the blessings over your food.
Yes. Make some rabbis thought if you make love, mystical rabbis, you make love with your wife at 2 a.m. in the morning on Sabbath, which was late. You help bring the masculine and feminine parts of the universe
Wow.
together.
Wow.
So that'll be your homework for this week.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I mean, I don't have a family. I was nearly married a couple years ago, and I was very close, but it didn't happen.
You're very marriageable. Now, how old are you?
35.
This is a good man to marry, folks.
All right, Jewish girls, are you watching?
Well, no, you could have Messianic.
Yeah.
If you're Christian, maybe we would marry. We're running out of time.
Messianic women.
As we discuss this marriage proposal, feel free to write CCTV and say you'd like a date with Joseph Ag to discuss all of these subjects. And we'll be back in 3 minutes for part 2. Well, thank you. That was different than we supposed, but